So surrender. I've been asked about surrender many times. Surrender is something that only a seeker of truth can know. It is an exalted state by itself, probably the most highest that a seeker can experience. It is filled with divine love. Getting there, this is the problem. You see? Because these questions, what is the need of surrender? What is surrender? Well, if there's any spiritual path, really, it is surrender. All paths lead to surrender. Even the no paths leads to surrender. Eventually, you will see. Because it doesn't matter how bright you are, how good you are, how intelligent you are, how loving you are. Without surrender, you shall not pass. Because it is a part of the big play, of the big romance. But where you are now, it will become a need eventually. Not when you're full of certainties, after you have tested your certainties. Not before. Surrender is the door. You see? If you have been listening to these videos, if you don't, go and see about the seeker of truth. What is a seeker of truth? You will see that it is a very narrow door. It is narrow because not that the door it is choosing, but it doesn't need to be a very big door because there are not so many crossing it. Surrender is much more narrow, and it's just for those who have crossed the first door. Really crossed, not come in to check it out and go away. You see? For those who have crossed it already. I understand that the problems that arise for the majority of seekers with this surrender part. But are you sure that this was caused to you by masters? Are you really sure? Because, like I said previously, there are only two types, the knower and the seeker. Cannot be both at the same time. And are you really sure that the attitude you have towards life, towards sacredness, are you really sure that that attitude is not really the basis for all these confusions and deceptions? I would reflect more on that. Because, you see, there's these expectations these days. And because it's not about seekers of truth. These big movements, they are only getting prepared for this quest for truth. They are going to the highest, they have jumped to the highest, they think. But they will be rescued. frustration will come eventually, and it will rescue them back again. So a seeker walks in front of a master, and he expects the master to entertain him, to act as a host. How do you say this? To make him feel comfortable, well, nice, because he is very important. He comes full of expectations that he has to be heard, that his opinions has to be validated, and all these not realizing that he's the one who is coming. So for him, the master has to prove him that he is right, that he is that he can trust him, not realizing that he is the one who is coming. He's the one who is in need. Well, if the master is like the seeker, if they are at the same level more or less, so he will have also expectations, so he has to fulfill the expectations of the seeker, or else the seeker will walk away. Boo. But if he is a master, he will probably do the opposite. He will go against your expectations to make you decide. It is always about decisions, always about surrender. And there's no effective surrender. There is, but it takes a long time. And going through intense tests. Intense tests. You see, there's this idea that if he is a master, then he must speak this way, he must act this way, all perfect, all nice, and in this attitude that you see, if it is or if it isn't. Wow. So, at the end, will you give a prize? You are a master, so I'm giving you the prize. Are you really sure that this is the point of all of this? It seems that you have forgotten that you're the one who is in a quest, looking for something. But only the seeker of truth can see this. Why? Because he's the one who is really on a quest. See, it's like you have you have become a teacher of mathematics. Someone comes to you, has not learned anything about mathematics and wants to discuss with you mathematics. What is the point of this? It can be a way of learning, but not when it involves the sacred. And there are those who are quite fast to surrender, you see, apparently. Because they use surrender, the attitude of surrender, the visible attitude of surrender, as a means to an end. To get something in their mind, they believe, if I show this surrender, I will get whatever they are imagining to be. And this will be tested also. Because it's about content. And this is about your need, the seeker of truth. But for him, there's no point in saying this. He will figure it out. Others say, should I surrender? What is surrender? Is it a need or not? The seeker of truth, because he is really walking the path, he knows it's unavoidable. Not unavoidable. He surrenders and surrenders and surrenders, and still he has to wait. Because it's very easy, and I see this all the time. Oh, I surrender. Until it fits my goals. If it's going somewhere else that it's not aligned with what I'm thinking, oh, then surrender stops and I retake again control. Well, this is the reason why it diverted from what you were expecting. Firstly, because it has to divert, your expectations have no value whatsoever. Second, because it has to be tested. So if your guidelines to maintain surrender are these ones, so the master will know this and will go through these ones really. Because to reveal that it was a fake surrender. Surrender reveals the divine romance. But this is only for the exalted ones, the seekers of truth, the ones who have devoted their entire lives to truth. They know they have nothing. So all these things that they thought they were important, their lives, even the life of the body, everything is just given, surrendered. And after going through the path, they will see that this is what they're looking for. Only through blessing. And there's also a point for this. But there's a lot of things that cannot be discussed. Life leads to surrender. If you haven't noticed that, you will eventually notice. You may demand truth. You may act like a fragile so that truth can take you in. You may do all sorts of techniques. You can use all sorts of, how do you say this? Strategies. Eventually, surrender is the only door. Everything else you will see that is just a wall, a concrete wall you cannot go through. For seekers of truth, this is very fast to understand this, because they are devoted, completely devoted. They have no other interests in life. They have understood the value of the world. The others, they will get there eventually. Like I said previously, until awakening, it doesn't stop. The individual experience is continuous. Doesn't matter in which world he is, in which circumstances, is the physical or the astral or mental or whatever. It continues. Eventually, you will get there.